Lawyers, when did you win your case? Because of the opposing lawyer messing up. I remember this case in my early career. I was just at the start, so I was still making my way up. Proving that I can be a good lawyer and handle complex cases was a must. So, I took on more difficult cases trying to make a statement. I came across this DUI case that landed on my desk. The guy was found intoxicated by the police. The driver damaged public property, but good thing no one was around. I knew I was going to have a hard time with this one. On the day of the trial, the prosecutor had a car accident on his way to court. Unfortunately, he lost the samples and evidence the police took from the driver. In absence of all evidence, my client was let go with a fine to pay for the damaged property, which we managed to cut down to half because of his insurance anyway. Sometime later I found out that the night before the hearing, the prosecutor was seen partying and drinking. The police on the scene took a test and found alcohol in his blood at the scene of the accident. Just another example of why people should never drink and drive. Another case closed. Once I faced a lawyer who was representing a client that was fired from his job based on claims that he was a drug user. Many of his colleagues complained to the manager about this matter, and that's what led to him losing his job. He sued the company based on the fact that he was fired on lack of any evidence of wrongdoing. The whole matter was getting complicated, so the judge for the conclusive answers of science and requested for a quick drug test. The client seemed hesitant at first, but his lawyer convinced him this would be the best way to go forward and prove everyone he is innocent. The following week the client presented his samples. They got tested, and the results were ready for the next hearing. The results turned positive for drug use. The client burst into denial, saying that it can't be. He admitted that he got samples from someone, because that's what his lawyer advised him to do. So, he asked for help from a friend of his and the samples, but it turned out his friend was a user. The lawyer lost his license for obstruction of justice, and the client was found guilty for fraud and manipulating evidence in court. 2 weeks later the guy got drug tested, and it turned positive. It was a drug-related case where the lawyer defended a cannabis dealer in California. If you know California, you know that everyone smokes pot. Either way, the dealer was accused of being part of a big network of suppliers that acted on the black market. So, you could say it was kind of an important case. The lawyer defending him was the big shot type of lawyer known for getting people off the hook for marijuana-related charges. You could say he really wanted his niche. Everything was going smooth and the lawyer presented well put together arguments. He cleverly argued the evidence against his client, placing him at different locations, putting together alibis, and all the sweet talk that you pay a lawyer from to get you out of trouble. He was doing an amazing job so far. This lawyer was known for addressing the jury in an oratorical way. He would often approach jury and persuade them with his legal charm and the smirk of man who is being paid too much. He can be quite convincing. However, in his attempts to come closer to the jury, in order to express his arguments in favor of the defendant more convincingly, one of the members of the jury smelled weed. You know, the stingy herbal smell that we all came across at some point or another. The distinctive smell made him raise this issue with the judge. Without hesitation, a member of the jury stated, "Your Honor, I believe I smell weed." The judge then instructed to the lawyer, "Sir, would you kindly come over to have a chat?" As the lawyer came closer to the judge, you could notice his reactions clearly. The judge was pulling a disgusted look like he used to do when maybe he caught his grandson smoking in his garage. He started to repeatedly hit his hammer against the wood, shouting, "This is unacceptable. Are you in possession of drugs at the moment?" The lawyer reached into his pocket suit and found half a gram of leftovers from last night. Apparently, when you party too much you tend to forget stuff. The case was dismissed for now, and the lawyer was the one who actually had to face charges. He was also found in possession of larger amounts stored at his address. The police's theory is that he received compensation this way from his clients. Because you know how it is in California, everyone smokes pot. That was the easiest case I've ever won. I was dating this really hot chick. As any romantic stories of our generation, It started online. For some reason, she found the fact that I was a lawyer very attractive. Maybe she liked the money, or maybe it was the suit, or the smile. I haven't really questioned what her profession was, because she was too hot for me to care. So, we started seeing each other in the weekends and things went well. Few weeks down the line an important case comes on my desk. And I know I have to win this case, because I win every case. To my surprise, when I arrived to court there was this lady who was representing the other client. It was the woman I was dating. We both locked looks, and we got lost for a second. We slipped a smile, but we knew this is not going to end well. Why on earth she didn't tell me she is a lawyer as well? I was representing a client that got caught up into a romance scam claiming her trust was abused by what she thought to be her partner. There was no incriminatory evidence at first glance due to the fact they were allegedly into a relationship, thus implying some level of trust between parties. I had difficulties building up the case in favor of my client. I could notice that the opposing lawyer, my date in the weekends lol, was feeling hesitant. She had the disgusted look that was testing her ethics. She couldn't resist, and during her time in front of the judge, she went all out on her client. Like literally, all out. How people should not be abused in a relationship, either emotionally, physically or financially. She accused her own client of being guilty, which is bold, and not so wise, if you want to keep your license. I guess she really wanted to stand by the truth. She couldn't take defending guilty people anymore. Either way, it worked fine for me. I won the case, but I haven't seen her again. It was a fortunate example of what happens if you mix pleasure with business perhaps. It was this case involving an old lady and her lawyer claiming that she is entitled to care payments from the council due to her health condition. She claimed that she can't use her arms to eat, drink or lift anything because her bones felt too weak. The case was argued because every time the lady refused to provide medical proof of her condition, so the social services refused to provide health care payments. The case went forward to a court hearing. The lawyer representing her had years of experience with similar cases. All our legal team had was absence of proof. The hearing went on for a long time. The guy kept appealing to the sensitive side of the jury to sympathize with the lady who needed care. When we confronted him for the lack of medical records, he presents proof of this that we have never seen before. That's when I knew we are about to lose this case. As the hearing dragged on, at some point the lady whispered to her lawyer that she was thirsty and to pass over a glass of water. Without thinking, the lawyer gave the glass of water to the lady, which she took it and continued to drink from it. It lasted only for a brief moment, but I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I draw the attention of the judge to the matter. He quickly noticed and found everything to be rather ironic. The lawyer and the lady realized suddenly the consequence of their error. If you claim something, at least play the part, and if you pay a lawyer, at least make sure he also remembers your story. It was a divorce case. My client was a middle-aged woman who got fed up with her relationship. I can understand those type of situations, because I have dealt with a lot of cases. Sometimes it goes smooth and sometimes can turn quite nasty. However, this case falls under the category of unexpected. The wife wanted to her share into the company they both built. As the company was formed and developed jointly, she claimed that she would be entitled to half. After the financial checks were conducted, the wife discovered their company lost money every time in the last few years and it's maintained only on credit. There are outstanding loans worth even more than the company itself. The husband tried to keep all of this secret, hoping that one day they would pull through. Nevertheless, the amount of debt was not sustainable and now he would have to pay back what he owes. But surprise, surprise, he actually owns nothing. On the day of the hearing I was upset for my client, because I knew how this would play out, and she ends up with nothing. Reading through the morning paper trying to take my mind away of the case, I come across compelling information. Something that might change everything. I arrived at court and presented my case. The husband's lawyer brought forward his arguments, saying exactly what I've anticipated, which is that his financial situation is not favorable to pay the wife. So, I took the newspaper out of my briefcase, and I point towards a small section in the corner of the paper. The "lottery winners" section was reading the name of the husband. A hefty prize was won by the lucky ticket the husband bought 3 days ago. The judge ruled the decision in our favor and the prize went towards company's debts and settlement. They say the chances of winning the lotto are impossible. However, the chances of losing a case in court are higher if you don't read the morning paper.